Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. It's definitely a pleasure to be here. I've been giving presentations on the Utica Shale and some of the environmental things that go along with it for quite a while now, and it seems like the stages just keep getting bigger and bigger. I want to give you a little bit of background on where I come from and why I think this is a very important development for our region. First of all, my wife and I, we have a nice little 20-acre slice of paradise down in Columbiana County. We've got a green construction home. We have a constructed wetland to take care of the agricultural runoff. We have a forestry management program, planting nut trees, and we just love living out in the country. About 15, 16 months ago, I got word that, or got wind of, Utica Shale development probably coming to Ohio. And that was about the same time I took over chairing the Department of Geological and Environmental Sciences. And I thought, when I heard about this, it was a great way for our department, geology on one foot, environmental sciences on the other, to be involved in this in a very constructive way. And so what I'd like to present to you today is some of the basics of what goes on with oil and gas production, hydraulic fracturing, and some of the environmental concerns we need to be looking out for, particularly when it comes to our water resources. Ohio is not new to oil and gas development by any stretch of the imagination. Oil and gas development started in the late 1800s, 1860, and it's been growing ever since. We've gone through a number of stages of development. The map that you're looking at actually shows the distribution of oil and gas fields in the state of Ohio. And as you can see, eastern Ohio has got quite a bit of oil and gas fields. The red areas pretty much are gas. The green and brownish areas are pretty much oil. With that in mind, we have a number of productive horizons. These are formations that have produced oil and gas over the years. And they go from the most shallow formations of coal bed methane down to the very deepest in the Trempealeau dolomite. On this picture that you're looking at, the formations that are labeled in red are what we call source rocks for oil and gas. These are organic rich shales, which over time, those shales, the organic material in those shales matures into natural gas and oil. And then they migrate out of those formations and into the formations above and below. So things like the coal bed methane have been excluded, but the Berea sandstone, the Big Lime, the Clinton sandstone, Trenton limestone, the Beekman Town, the Rose Run, and the Trempealeau, these are all reservoir rocks that have been enriched in petroleum from the source rocks, the Utica Shale, the Marcellus, and some of the shales within the Ohio Sugar Shale section. With that in mind, you have to be aware of the fact that natural gas is a part of our landscape. There's a lot of concern about natural gas in groundwater. It was there before we came here. It's still there now. That's not to say the oil and gas industry doesn't impact that. It can. But it is a natural part of our landscape. Back in June, I was lucky enough to be able to go out to one of Chesapeake's drilling sites and see firsthand how the operations go. And compared to earlier sites, like with the Clinton sandstone, things like that, I was very impressed with how the approach to oil and gas drilling is done in shale gas. This is definitely a corporate approach, and it's one that really looks out for, in my opinion, the environmental issues. A lot of people talk about the Utica Shale. Very few people have actually seen it. Where we stand right here, it's about 7,000 feet below the surface. If you actually want to see the exposure of it, you'd have to head over to Utica, New York, southern Quebec. You can see an outcropping there. But we have a special treat for you today. If you were to head over to the Y.O.U.N.G table, we've got some of the core samples from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources laid out. This particular core you see on the slide is from the Fred Barth well, and it's pretty much drilled, and the core was extracted pretty much in the heart of what is speculated to be the oil-rich zone.